You can't tell the difference. Oh,
Can't tell the difference between what?
between this recipe of it's a way you cook turkey bacon. Yeah, turkey bacon.
Howdy, everybody. We're back. We're back in black. Hit the sack. Okay, never mind. All right, let's pray in. We're black and blue today. Okay. Heavenly Father, thank you very much for this opportunity to fellowship and study your word together, to grow with one another as we read your word and really take time to savor and to digest what it is you're feeding us with this daily bread. And we're very grateful for that. We have people with pest problems today, and we ask that you help them eradicate that. And we also have people that are in need of recovery from overdoing it, and we ask for you to touch them and let them feel better. And well, we just ask your blessing. Please pour your spirit out on everyone here, that they share what it is that they're learning, to help us all grow in you and to bond with one another, to be your children, our brothers and sisters here. We thank you for that. In Jesus Yeshua's name, amen. Okay. So let's see here. Howdy, Alvina. Howdy, the fire of Yah. Howdy, Sabbath. Who else is in here? Hey, there's Alvina again. Landon? Who's that? I don't know.
Just a new guy.
Howdy, Jasmine. Today's
Yes,
GR.
I have shaved and look like a 14-year-old boy again.
Yeah, for today's episode, we're flashing back to junior high school, but just for Landon.
You're losing the beard challenge right now, Landon.
Yeah, you are.
Give me 2 days.
Yeah.
It's like Homer Simpson when he shaves and it's all right in the mirror.
Yeah. Evan Almighty movie.
And Ashley. Okay. Howdy. All right. So where did we start today? We started in chapter 10. Let's cover that first. Let's just discuss that a little bit, because we initially started out trying to do a whole bunch at once. And a lot of people said they were overloaded. And a lot of people also said they wanted to slow down so they could take more notes, better notes, and thoroughly digest it. So that's what we're doing. So we're going to try to keep it to 5 chapters per session. We'll still do that. We're going to do it 3 times a week. So anybody that wants to read, let me know. Okay. What you talking about, Willis? Okay. Anyways. All right. Willis, welcome. Let's see here. So chapter 10, you guys got anything?
I'm trying to see.
What you got, man? I have to go back. I didn't take any notes because I was reading it. So, it's that's the chapter. Those 70 people that are named are the 70 nations.
Huh. Just something I was thinking of when we were reading it. But I can't really find an answer in the concordance of, said verse 8, because I'm reading the ESV and it says he was the first on earth to be a mighty man. And the version, thank you, Barry. The version that you read from says something slightly differently, but in the concordance it doesn't have a first of anything. It's just, I don't know.
This is a really good chapter. I just did a study on this actually about, Japheth, Ham, Shem, where all their like the land they were supposed to get, and how Canaan took over what was supposed to be, I think it's Japheth's family. And so like it was already promised to him, and then he just used Abraham, to bring it to come back and get the promised land again.
Yep. Yeah, it's really interesting if you do a study on that, and if you trace the names of all these people that are listed and follow them historically. You need a really good old printed atlas to do it because, well, let's just say that internet information is somewhat lacking from what I've found. But we're not going to get into that right now. Anyways, it's amazing. It's amazing because I mean you can see where they overspread all the earth.
Well, the Canaanites got cursed because they went to the land they weren't supposed to. So it makes sense now, like why they kept telling their sons, don't take a daughter of Canaan because they're cursed. I know when I came to that realization, I was like, no, that makes sense now why they told them not to marry into the Canaanites.
Yep. Now, do you think that has something to do with later on in like Leviticus and Exodus and Leviticus and Numbers, Deuteronomy? It says not to move your neighbor's boundary marker.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wait, I mean, I know it's further on, but I'm trying to understand what would moving your neighbor's boundary marker have to do with the Canaanites? So?
Well, because you're taking your neighbor's land. So it's like you ever had the. So that's the analogy I was making or likening it to. They took their brother's land, their fellow man's land that wasn't theirs.
Right.
Same type of way when you move that boundary marker. You can see it today where people, get a survey done and they find out that the neighbor that built the fence to this house they want to build, moved it into their property 2 or 3 feet.
Right.
That type of stuff
happens all the time.
Yeah, we build decks for people that, they're like, oh, this is the property line. You can go up to here, and then we look at the boundary lines, and it's like over their neighbor's property. It's like, no, we can't do that. You have to figure that one out with your neighbor. Same with fencing. They did the same thing with fencing. People always trying to put their fence on their neighbor's property.
Yeah, that happens a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So, anyways, that is a really good chapter. Everybody make note of it.
And I noticed it said, Ham's where all the ites came from.
Yeah. Yep. And those are all the ones they were told to execute.
Mm-hmm.
To go through man, woman, and child, livestock even. Don't even take the gold from those cities.
Makes me wonder, do you think that the animals were being altered too?
I do, personally, but I can't prove it.
Yeah.
But I do personally believe that. So if you don't believe the way I tell you to believe, then okay, no. It's just what I believe. So all right, let's go to 11. Got anything for 11?
That's another good one.
I always get to verse 7 there, and there's a disconnect. In my opinion, there's a disconnect with people. They say, you'll hear people say Hebrew is the same language spoken by God and the angels. But verse 7, it says, Go to, let us go down, and there confound their language. If they were all of one tongue, wouldn't it be confound our language?
Right.
So that's the and then also too, I always point to that one verse that says, eventually we'll be given a pure tongue or pure language, and there at that point in time in the future from now, we'll be able to call the true name of God, of Yahweh, of Yah, of Jehovah, of the Lord, but not before that. But at some point when we're all speaking pure tongue.
Yeah, I don't think. I mean, I think whatever sentence structure or however the heavenly language works, it's a language based on like intention and truth. Because like you can lie to God, or but it doesn't work. Like how do you know what I mean? Like it wouldn't. I don't think the way that they speak to one another works the same way with the words that we use. But that's
right.
You know what I mean? It just doesn't work the way that we perceive language to work.
It's Zephaniah 3:9. For then will I turn to the people a pure language, that they may call upon the name of the Lord to serve him with one consent. And that, if you think about that, the language now got people arguing over the meaning of a word that I don't know. That I agree, Sabbath. English is a horrible language if you don't take the time to learn it. All right. What else out of chapter 11?
It's one reason why I like the extra biblical books is it gets a lot more detail about the Tower of Babel.
It does. They go into more detail, and there was something else with this. I don't know if it was the.
Did you see that there's an app out now called Babel?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's to combine all the languages again.
Yeah.
It
reminds me of the Star Trek translators, where just whatever they speak, that's what the other person hears, and whatever that person speaks, that's what you hear it in your language automatically. That and verse 26. See, that skips quite a bit. But most of that is talking about their generations. But verse 26, is this their birth order? Abram, right? Terah begat Abram, Nahor, and Haran.
I don't know.
Is that what?
Is that their birth order? Is that right? Because everything else before this, in all these genealogies, they give the name of the firstborn son,
Mm-hmm.
and then they had a bunch of other women or sons and daughters, women and children. But this is something here. It names all three of them at once. Were they triplets?
I don't know.
I don't know. I'm asking. So.
But then I don't know a whole lot about them. You know, we haven't seen a whole lot of text about. And I did notice their lifespans were growing like shorter by the generation.
Yep. Yeah, they do. It's pretty interesting.
500 to 119. Yeah.
The Fire of Yah says, I think there is an age reference in Jasher. Yeah, but I believe I may have read that, but I can't say chapter and verse, so I don't know.
I watched a video about the Tower of Babel and where they think it is today. That's
Uh-huh.
pretty interesting. I think you've seen it too, John.
Oh, that mountain that the Buddhists worship.
Yep, in India. It says it's like a 3 days walk around it, which, like in Jasher, it says it's a 3 days walk around the tower or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But in Jasher, it says a third of it, the top was burned, a third of the bottom fell into the ground, so there's only a third left. And that mountain is huge. Huge. And I guess like Russian scientists or whatever went and studied it, and it's like some redstone there for sure. It was like an old structure, like a pyramid or something. I thought that was interesting.
It is interesting.
And they say that the Indian culture over there, the religions, that they still walk around it once a year for like a festival or something.
Yeah, it's like part of their pilgrimage also.
Yeah. Like the Indians go one way around it and some other culture goes another way around it. It's like, okay.
It sounds like Midnight Express.
And that gives the symbology of the bottom of the tower as it's always been depicted. Yeah, that was an interesting study.
Don't they have that on the euro? What they depict as the Tower of Babel?
Mm-hmm. That's just a theater.
Yeah. Oh, it's a theater, all right. Theater of Satan. Okay. All right.
The Tower of Babel thing always made me think too, like when I heard, about flat Earth, it's like, okay, how does that make sense on a globe? Where are they going?
See, they were trying to throw off the balance of the spinning planet so we could get off path and move it around like the planet Ming or the planet Mongo, right? In Flash Gordon. And then they could adjust the tower up and down to determine how far off path it'd be.
I also believe that it could be some sort of machine, though. It could have been like it wasn't just a height thing. Maybe I'm wrong, but it's possible that he was trying to break into the heavens, like it's sort of like with some things that they're doing with like science stuff today, trying to peer into other places, or saying, I don't know what's possible and what's not, but it's just it's an interesting idea that it's possible that it could have been some sort of like dimensional thing where they were trying to get into the heavens.
Yeah, they have. It's if you look at that documentary, do you remember the name of it, Matt?
I don't. I have it saved somewhere.
GR. Anyways, if you are able to find that documentary, it covers that, right? So what they're trying to say is the plane of Shinar now is a distraction. Look, nothing up the sleeve, that type of stuff. Kind of the same way that they call the Sinai Peninsula, and then there's a place in the Sinai Peninsula they call Mount Sinai. Yeah, in Scripture, we're told that Mount Sinai is in Arabia. And, lo and behold, when you start looking at all those pieces of the puzzle, what is it they call it? Is it Mount Al-Bab-Jabaz or something? I don't know, off the top of my head. I'll totally mess it up.
Yeah, Dee just asked about copper pipes under pyramids. In China, they found a ton of copper piping under pyramids, like really small copper pipes. So they had piping for something.
Right.
They say it's hundreds of thousands of years old, which we know is not true.
No, it isn't. I know. No, it isn't. All right. How about Capítulo 12, chapter 12. Oh, wait, I'm not even there yet. Okay, here we go. What do you have there? I don't have anything until verse 12. But well, yeah, verse 12. Now, I was trying to make notes quick, but I wrote down reasoned worry. So in the King James, it's therefore it shall come to pass when the Egyptians shall see thee, talking to Sarai, that they shall say, this is his wife, and they will kill me, but they will save thee alive. So he's reasoning out that they're going to kill him in order to take his wife as their wife, basically, or whatever they're going to do to her. And it just kind of struck me. That we do that all the time. You know, we constantly try to solve a problem that doesn't exist yet. Right? You know, oh, well, I would like to, I would like to apply for this job. Oh, but if I apply for that job, they won't hire me. Or what if they don't hire me? And then what if my boss at my current job finds out, or something like that? You know what I mean? We just start stacking this worry upon worry upon worry. And nothing's even happened yet. We haven't even done anything yet. We just think that things are going to be a certain way and work it into our head. And then we try to solve a problem that's not there. And it ends up causing more problems, right? Because Pharaoh later on is like, get out, or the king of Egypt, it says.
Right.
Hi, Olivia. Okay, sorry. Yeah.
I knew. Just a little side thought. The oak of Moray either had to be really, really big, or just the only tree in like just with nothing around it. I mean, I'm thinking that because like it names it like it's a special spot. So I was,
The what? Sorry.
The verse 6, Abraham passed through the land to the place of Shechem to the oak of Moreh.
Oh, that's Moray or Mamre?
No, this one's Moreh.
Okay. Anyways, yeah.
But it had to be like I've got oak trees in my yard, but I'm not like that's the oak of Hammond. You know, I'm just thinking it's got to be a really big tree, or there's just nothing else there.
I don't know. One time we were driving around through, South central Arizona, where there's a lot of old farm fields that used to be there. We were going down this dirt road for miles and miles and miles. I said, hey, let's walk over to that tree in the middle of the field. And it was like the closer we got to it, the further away it was, but the bigger it was getting. So that's kind of how I picture this thing. And what looked like a neglected farm field was like it had been neglected for many, many, probably decades at that point. But the tree was just massive, massively huge.
I remember seeing old logging pictures of trees that are massive.
Yeah.
Like you can drive semis through them,
Yep. Yeah, it's easier to just build a road through that tree than cut it down.
Mm-hmm.
Back before they had chainsaws, when manly men did manly things. Okay. Anyways. Anything else from 12?
So I'm a bit distracted. I'm still looking for that link about the tower.
Right. And let me see here.
It's interesting that he sends plagues. It doesn't really
Oops.
say what it was. It just says great plagues.
Right.
Makes you wonder what it was. Was it locusts? You know, was it frogs, or was it just like weather? You know.
Oh, that's a 6-part series.
Yes.
Talking about. Okay. Let's see here. I found it. It's the Tower of Babel Found. Let's see.
It would have been easier to type that than to look through all of my YouTube history ever.
On page 40.
I haven't found it yet. Well, I saved it.
JJ made it. Hey, JJ. Howdy, JJ.
It's early for JJ.
JJ Jean-Claude. Okay. But anyways, yeah. What I think in, I want to say Jasher, could be Jubilees, I guess. It talks also about the plague that's put upon Pharaoh's house. When Abram says that, and then later on too, when Abram says it again to another king somewhere, and he develops kind of this reputation where nobody wants anything to do with him. They're like, "You're that guy that's always lying about your wife. Get away from us, Kersey." Maybe the fire of Yah. Where's Grumpy, Sabbath? Okay, anyways. Oak roots are not as deep or as wide as you would think they would be. Depends on the species of oak. All right, what about 13? What do we got? What do we got? Chapter 13 of Genesis.
What's funny though is, wasn't Sarah kind of Abraham's sister? Do you think about it?
Yeah, she was
His half sister.
Half sister, for sure.
Was he lying?
He wasn't lying, but he left out the wife part.
Yeah.
Right? What's that saying?
Half truth.
Half truth is all lie.
Mm-hmm.
Something along those lines. Is that Eli making that noise? No? Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's not to.
JJ, it's someone else that loves you, not Eli. Yeah. Not that Eli doesn't love you. Man,
No, he gets to be outside during the shows. He's too hyper.
what?
I separate them, but then they just sit there and whine.
Right?
Squirrel. There's a squirrel.
Go ahead. Looking at him now, I think he's already caught up to me. Go.
It's less than 24
All night.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. My ear hair grows faster.
You can gladly hold the title. I don't want.
That and now playing Yoda with no makeup, Jonathan. All right. Da-da-da. Willis, back then, it was. Remember, this is before the whole Earth was overspread with all kinds of people. We in 13? Yeah. And he wasn't told not to. Okay. You're my sister. All right. Anyways, let's chapter 13. What I don't, goes through this. They split the land up. I didn't get anything until verse 13. If you have anything before that, anybody? Pipe down in Arkansas. You guys just keep that over there.
I'm resisting the urge to
jump in on that.
Alabama. But well, it's I'm trying. I gotta collect my words. I was just thinking the first part of the chapter really speaks to like because like they're blessed. They're so blessed. They got so like so many things that being able to grow and strengthen a family and all that. But then the people start bickering because they don't even want to hang out. Like it goes back into the example. Maybe they weren't actually doing it, but it's like let me move this property line a little bit. Like I need more room for me. And but the two leaders of these two different households are like, let no strife be between us because we're family,
Right.
It's all the bickering amongst their their herdsmen.
Right. Yeah, exactly. The thing that really jumped out at me on this was verse 13. I'm not sure what it says in what you were reading. I think you're reading the ESV.
Yes.
But it says, but the men of Sodom were wicked and sinners before the Lord, exceedingly wicked.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, here's just wicked. But that wicked, that's exceedingly wicked. And I want to say Jasher, I think it's Jasher, goes into a lot of detail about Gomorrah, Sodom and Gomorrah. And we will be reading that eventually. But it really gets into it, not just the sexual activity, but they pass laws to just really work people over in the legal system.
Mm-hmm.
And I see a lot of parallels to Western society today. They use the legal system to bully other people, to steal everything that somebody has. Just really, really eye-opening. You can see why they don't want you to read it. Don't read that.
Doesn't it say too that they were like, they had no need. They had tons of food and they're just like gluttons and kind of lazy. And I can't remember where I read this, but when I was reading it, I was like, man, it's like kind of like America.
Look at that. That's interesting. Thank you, sister. Just amazing the stuff that they were coming up with, though. Like they would say, "Hey, oh, you're a weary traveler. Come on, stay at my house. Just stay at my house for a while." And then after they kept them there for like 3 days, they would say, "Well, you owe me, your donkey. I let you stay here for 3 days." "Well, you did. You
Right.
told me that I could stay here. What? And it's free?" And then they'd go to court. And of course, the court would rule for the resident of Gomorrah or Sodom
Mm.
or one of those other 5 cities. And just brutal. One of Lot's daughters in one of those books is murdered because she's helping a stranger, because they like lock him up for coming through their town, and they like lock him up and they're not feeding him because he won't give up his belongings. So she's like slipping him food at night, and then when they find that out, they murder her. Just brutal.
What Sabbath you just said?
Which one? Talking about cousins and men?
Mm-hmm.
Cousins and men are marrying men. And trees? What? Put that all in one, because that's kind of... Yeah, exactly. Just weird. All right.
It is a lot like Western society. Like there's a good example of there's a man in Texas, I believe, fighting for just the right to call his son a boy. Like his wife was trying to petition the courts to make his dad, because they weren't together, like not even be able to address him by his name that he was given at birth. And it was just a sad. He didn't follow the order. The court told him not to talk about it, and then he held a press conference in the public. And so it's interesting that, I mean, it is the sort of thing that's going on.
Well, I forget who posted it. Somebody, something just really outrageous from doing a skit. I think it's called We the Internet, WIT, and it was the guy coming in and saying, talking about the challenges at home because their 3-year-old boy decided that he's a girl. His coworkers like, "Oh, well, how is she?" And the guy just looks at him and he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, is she not her preferred pronoun?" And he's like, "Nope." And so what is the pronoun of your child's choice? And he says, like, so if they're talking about his child, they're going to say, "Oh, he, went to the bathroom," or whatever. It was just ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I found that it popped up on I remember it now. And
there's basically, if a child's had some type of trauma, it can confuse them in many ways, like sexually, or and to let a child like try to tell an adult who or what they are, how they feel, it's like, and then determine that and then have sex changes and like, or like hormone treatments, and it's just insane.
Children that are like 4 and 5 years old.
Yeah.
Abominable.
Yeah.
Anyways, it's just disturbing. Yep. And then back in Genesis 6, we're not there right now, but we did read that. In that verse 4, there were giants in the earth of those days, and also after that, when the sons of God came in unto the daughters of men, and they bare children unto them, the same became mighty men, which were of old, men of renown. If you do a word study on that whole verse, it talks about bullies and tyrants. And it's like, where are we now? We're in bullies and tyrants. but everybody's looking for this physical manifestation of somebody that's 20 feet tall. It's like we are in it. We are in it now.
Well, there are also different tribes, I would even say now, of because there's some people that if you even say anything about that the place you work is, their whole tribe will come against you. And I don't mean that in the sense like it's more of like a tribe of ideals or lifestyle choices, but I mean, the bully thing is there. Like, if you even say anything of truth, about certain things, it doesn't matter. An entire people group will come after you.
Yep.
Yes, it will. But anyways, all right. I'm a little pressed for time. People keep dying around me.
Oh.
It's not me, though. Maybe it is me. Okay, anyways. Chapter 14.
What kind of truck, JJ? Better be like a Mercedes.
A Mercedes truck? Oh.
They got new 6x6s out.
Yes. Thank you, Stay Strong.
Yeah.
Yep. I don't have anything towards the beginning of the chapter of this. Of 14.
You see where the pits are for the mortar that they use to build.
Right.
Oh, I'm assuming. I mean, it doesn't say that's where they pulled the mortar from, but I'm just gonna, because the king of Shinar is there. They can't be too far from the plains of Shinar, and that if there's pits of bitumen, I would assume that's where they got it to build the bricks for the tower or to put them together.
Yeah. Yeah. We slime, bitumen. That's what we call tar, like the La Brea tar pits, where you just have a big, naturally occurring pit of, oil that's been boiled into a nasty, gross, sticky, thick, gluey substance. Yeah, it's interesting. I missed it. Stay Strong. The question. I looked up. I can't find it. I don't see a question. Anyways, down in 40, and I'm sorry, 20, verse 14, 20. There's it's talking about him tithing. And a lot of people point to this as, see, we're supposed to give 10% of everything we earn. But he's not tithing something he earned there. He's tithing of his war capture, his war booty. He's tithing of his booty. What do they call that? War trophies?
Mm-hmm. Thunder.
And he returns everything that belonged to the king of Sodom. Yeah. He returns everything that had been his to him, minus food and what was it? What they've eaten, the portion of the men that went with him. Yeah, spoils of war. That's the word I was looking for. The phrase I was looking for. Why are you so familiar with war? Okay. Okay, let me go back up. Oh, maybe I should wear glasses when we do these studies. Sorry, Lori. How to dream about a giant.
Is that the one? Or was that just a comment?
Oh, here it is. I wondered if God moved Lot and his family inside Sodom to be a witness. Oh, that's a good question. Where was his family when Lot was taken? That's a fantastic question. And off the top of my head, I can't recall reading that anywhere. I mean, not just in scripture, but the other books as well. My thinking cap has a propeller. Okay, anyways. All right.
It doesn't say this, but I also think that maybe even if it wasn't, we now live in a day and age now we can see how quickly things can get out of hand or perverse, far beyond anything that we would have imagined 5 years ago, much less 10. But I was just thinking I'm not trying to diminish Abram's decision, but I think that it would have been easier to give up the gold and everything back to Sodom, because maybe some of the idols of gold were probably of things. He's just like, you know what, you can keep all this. So one, it is absolutely for the glory of God, but other, it's like the value of it and the, seeing with the focus on the Father and knowing that it's all worldly stuff anyway, but then even more so that it's stuff built in a palace of sin, that it's just like, I don't want any of this, keep it. I'm taking the people, but yeah.
Interesting. Did they become exceedingly wicked because they were delivered out of being captured?
Or like winning, which I don't know if they were continuously a warus, but I don't even know if that's a word. Constantly going to war, but I see a patriotism of overconfidence, in today's society here, and it's possible that same thing, winning, or at least not being captured, is like, kind of gives you that untouchable mentality, depending on culture, but that's just again.
I noticed Melchizedek was talked about. It says Melchizedek, king of Salem, brought forth bread and wine, and he was a priest of the Most High God. And I know there's tons of debate about who Melchizedek is.
I was told it was a title from some studies that I've done, that it's I wish I could remember at the moment exactly what it was, but because it's a span of over like 400 years in different parts of the Bible, so yeah, I'm gonna have to pull it up before I speak anymore on it. But I did I was watching something one time, and someone that's well studied in the Bible, and they were saying that it's a title, like a position of
Well, he's king of Salem, which Salem is an abbreviation of Jerusalem,
Mm-hmm. And a priest.
And the priest of the Most High God. That sounds awful lot like our Messiah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The high priest, after the order of Melchizedek.
As Gwen would say.
I know. I was going to comment on that earlier. I was like, we're with you in spirit, Gwen. It's because we were all going,
Yeah, I've heard that too. That is interesting.
when people do that.
No, because it does. It sounds just like Jesus, the high priest of the Father. I don't know that it is, but it sounds an awful lot like that's him. So I need to study more on Melchizedek. Bread and wine too. Bread and wine.
Yeah, because there's nowhere where a king was also a priest, right?
That we know of. No, and it's kind of interesting because it seems like king of Egypt, Pharaoh, wasn't until Joseph took over as administrator for him. Or, I'm sorry, yeah, Joseph, that he took over all of Egypt. It used to be just like he was there in the city sitting on his throne. But then during the famine, everybody traded all their wealth and land for food. That what you're looking for, Sabbath year, is in Hebrews, right?
Mm-hmm.
Chapter 6. Chapter 5, chapter 6, verse 20, whether the forerunner is for us entered, even Jesus made him high priest forever after the order of Melchizedek. Thanks for showing up. Stay strong. Talk to you later. Someone else left too. I don't remember who. I missed it though.
Get the barbecue. It's all right.
That's a good question, Ashley. Did Abad, I'm going to say C, David, as both since he ate the bread only for priests? Or was it something he was...
But he wasn't allowed to build the temple either.
Right, because he was a man of war.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Billy Sunday. Bye, Billy Sunday. That, and actually I got to get rolling here too. My father-in-law's wife's stepdad passed away. So we are going to that service. At any rate, everybody, we're going to try to do this 5 chapters 3 times a week. Monday, does that work for everybody? If not, you can watch the taping. So Monday, Wednesday, and Sabbath day today. And anyways, it's really important that everybody get a notebook and a pen so that we can keep track of everything. When I was instructing, when I was certifying instructors, we used to, one of the tricks we would use is have them get a stack of index cards and have them write their questions down if we knew it would be answered later in the lesson. And that's kind of what I want you to use this notebook for. Write down the questions and observations you have. And then later on, you'll say, oh, wait, I think I remember reading something about that. You know, go back flipping through your notes and see where it was that you had that question. We're going to try the same time, which was 7 p.m. Eastern and 4 p.m. West
Yep.
Coast time. We're going to try that again, Colby. Unless we need to tweak it, which I'm having a feeling it'll probably have to be tweaked when all the people who aren't rioting about daylight savings time go on daylight savings time next month.
Yeah, we go forward, don't we?
What is it? Spring forward, fall back?
Yeah.
How about this? How about you just call your legislators and say, you know what? We're not changing our clocks anymore.
I don't know if Mr. Clay Higgins will put up with that.
We are not changing our clocks anymore. You just show up to work earlier. How's that? Since you
Yeah.
live off our taxes. Okay, and not paying taxes. All right, everybody, love you all. Thank you, Landon. Thank you, Matt. Everybody else, I'm sorry you couldn't make it today. Bad things happen. Anybody else, if you want to read with us, let me know, and we'll get the background check done. I'm just kidding. I'll send you the link. Anyways, love you all. Thank you for joining us. Bye.
Bye.